Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the JKWD podcast. Fall is in full effect. Thanksgiving is coming up. That's what we're going to talk about today. Thanks and giving, all that stuff. Kelvin, how you doing?
I'm good. I have delayed this podcast for hours talking about random things that pop into my head as we go around, and you've just been laughing at me and having fun. But it's good. I'm alive. I'm walking. I'm talking. I made chili last week. I got nothing to complain about worth talking about. How's that? How about you?
Yeah, well, I owe y'all a race report. As of this recording, the race was 6 days ago. It'll be a while before you hear this, I think. But it was cold and windy and raining. And it got done. Let's put it that way. Nobody was setting any course records. Maybe a few people set personal bests because it was their first time doing one of these. But I wound up buying an extra outer layer, and I wore 2 layers of pajamas that I hadn't intended to wear during the race. So I was all about it. But the temperature, so the weather from like 10 days out was 48 degrees at start time, 65 for a high, maybe a 30% chance of rain the day before. By the time race day showed up, it was, I got out to the start line, it was 44, felt like 37, with drenching rains and wind gusts over 20 miles an hour. They canceled the full marathon. Some of the parts of the extended course were under too much water to actually be safe to run.
Wow.
But still, something on the order of 6,700 of us went out for the half marathon, and it was still fun. It's still a good time to have a bunch of people running and cheering each other on, and they always have a Forrest Gump impersonator out there because Forrest Gump was shot here in Savannah, and we run right by the square where the bus stop was, and the church where the feather floated down. It was a good time, and then we went out for lots of drinks to warm us up.
Yeah, I want to revisit this 6,700 people.
Yeah.
Line. How the heck does one keep track of 6,700 people?
What do you mean keep track? Everybody everybody pins a bib to their outfit, and they put a little tracker on the back. So as long as you stay on course, you're running over the things that respond to the trackers, and it kicks you your time like 6 times throughout the race.
6,700 trackers.
So 6,700 people.
Wow.
6,700 people crossed the start line and the finish line.
Amazing.
So there were more people who probably didn't finish, and there were some people who decided not to start.
Got it. Wow. Bless you, my son. Glad you finished it. Proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. So I have the bridge run here in Savannah coming up. That's a split 15K, which is interesting because you run a 5K, and then you wait, like, depending on your finish time, you wait like 20 to 30 minutes or 20 to 45 minutes, and then you start the 10K. But we have a bridge that spans the Savannah River from Georgia into South Carolina. We don't go all the way into South Carolina, but we cross onto an island here, where the convention center is. Actually, We do it the other way. We start at the convention center, we cross into the city proper, and then that's 5K, and then we do it the other way around. We go from the city over to the convention center and back to the city for the 10K. So we actually cross this bridge 3 times. It's the only hill in the city. There's no way to train for this unless you either run over this bridge, which doesn't have a running lane, or people will run in the parking garages.
Wow.
Because those are hills. Those ramps are pretty steady inclines, but it's beautiful. You get up to the top and you stop and you take pictures, and you can see a bunch of the city, and you can see Hutchinson Island, and you can see down the port. And
cool.
You get a nice view of the river. And hopefully it'll be a nice sunny day, or at least a bright cloudy day.
This is gonna be when?
This is gonna be early December.
Good luck.
And then,
of course, your early December is probably going to be way different than mine.
Yeah. No, you won't have to worry about snow. The worst. I shouldn't pick a worst case scenario because we just.
Yeah. Okay. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
But the most likely probability is it's going to be around between 45 and 50 degrees when we start. Like, it'll be nice. Be a nice day for a run.
Cool. Well, good luck on that.
We got the Charleston half marathon, Martin Luther King Day weekend, and then the Myrtle Beach half marathon in March.
Man, you got a busy year.
Yeah. Well, I have this problem that I keep doing this race that I just did and then quitting for 8 months, so I figured if I just kept signing up for stuff that I wouldn't have a chance to quit.
Got it.
Because I got to be ready for the next thing.
Well, in your honor, I'm going to continue to renew my driver's license so I can drive continuously.
Yeah. I have to do that next year.
Got it.
We can do an 8-year. We have 8-year renewals here, which is nice.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. You have the option to do, I don't know, what is it, 4 or 5? Or you can do 8. I
thought mine was 10 here, but I don't remember anymore.
You don't get a discount for doing the more years. So if you get the convenience of not having to do it more frequently.
Got it.
If you can pay the extra, $60 or whatever.
Got it. Sounds good.
Anyway,
well, that's probably the longest intro we've had in, I don't know, 5-6 years.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Welcome to the Josh and Kelvin World Domination Podcast, where we talk about better humanhood and teach you how to dominate your world. You ready? Here we go. Here we are. It's Thanksgiving coming up.
Yes, it is.
And you can see family this year? I know you've been down there a couple of times.
We're looking at it. Yeah. Right now, it looks like it's planned to be at my oldest sister's house, which is formerly known as Mom's house, and we're planning to go down for that. My son, my baby boy, who has his own family and lives here, is going to be having his own celebration, their own, doing things, and that was kind of cool. But he plans to join us for Christmas, so that'll be a good thing. This will be him and his new family and his new baby, and look at it, just out there asserting his independence and such. How dare a 37-year-old do that? But yeah, so it's gonna be a nice should be a nice reunion after all the stuff that's been going on, and luckily knock, 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 knock. No, none of us have actually had a personal bout with COVID, and I haven't heard any complaints lately. So it should be a
Good.
fun time. It's been a while since we've all been together, just doing that where somebody hadn't died before. so, so yeah, gonna be hanging out with them in Maryland.
Good. We'll be probably up at my parents in Charleston, like we usually are. Growing up, my parents always did the Thanksgiving meal, and we'd have all the uncles and aunts and grandparents and everybody and cousins come out, and sometimes we'd have 24, 25 people. Now that kind of only our branch of the family is down here, although we've picked up a couple of spouses and some kids along the way. It's growing, and they got some friends who will probably join us, but won't be anywhere near the 20 something we grew up with.
Yeah.
That used to be a good way to get rid of the cousins' boyfriends too. Have them come to Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
and then they wouldn't get to eat because they'd be too shy to speak up and ask for anything.
Oh, yeah. Train him in the way he should go. That's it.
Like, if you can't eat with all this food on the table, how do you think it's going to be, when you're in a house alone? Definitely.
Oh yeah, we had one of my exes, because my family, we kind of grew up all talking at the same time, and the basic rule was whichever one took a breath first, and the next one just slide right into the line there. And I had to explain that to one of them. Oh, they don't like me. They don't let me talk. No, they don't let each other talk. You just claim your spot and go. and that's wonderful. So she eventually figured it out. So, life's good.
Yeah, but I like to. It's a common tradition, I think, for families to either go around the table and say what they're thankful for, or say they're going to do that. But I've been spending time this year in general, I think, doing more of that, just trying to step outside into the quiet at night and looking up at the stars and the moon and going, I see what you did there. Thanks for that. And I find a feeling of peace in it. We went to the beach yesterday. I'd been feeling overwhelmed lately, and it's too cold to get in the water or anything, but to look out over the vastness of the ocean and just take a minute and be thankful for standing on solid ground and being able to inhale the clean air and look at all the stuff going on offshore. People paddle boarding and boats going this way and that way that we can see from the shore and all that kind of stuff. And just taking a moment. And that pause generally brings me peace. How about you?
I haven't made it down to the water and stuff in a long time, although we have a little Onondaga Lake here. I generally have just a peaceful, grateful day. I mean, every morning I wake up, and that's always a high point of my day. Look, I can get out of bed now because I'm alive and everything's working.
How do you keep that gratitude for such a seemingly benign act?
I don't know. I guess I like breathing. I've studied gratitude for a long time. I'm grateful for a lot of things. And I just, I keep telling people I'm not going to die. Well, not till I'm 156. And every day, every next day I'm still here and life is good. It's okay. I haven't had any particular, it's just, I guess it's deliberate. I guess I made a decision at some time because I write my vitamin K's and every once in a while I say Happy Monday and like be grateful for this Monday because like somebody somewhere didn't make it back, you know. So I'm still alive. I still have the opportunity to contribute. I I help other people feel better or feel good when they're not. Some days I'm better at it than others. Luckily for me, I'm in great health and I don't have any significant problems and I like to say these days that there's nothing wrong in my life that's not my fault. So since there's nothing wrong in my life that's not my fault, I got nobody to blame for it. So I don't have to be mad at anybody. It's just me. So that's just over time, I've just developed that mindset, that thought. And the fact that I'm up, moving around on my own power and breathing is okay. And I really don't have much explanation for it beyond that. I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. I've got good friends. Sometimes we communicate, sometimes we don't. Um, I don't know. I'm just happy to be alive.
Yeah, I think that's a good attitude to have and one that's difficult to come by. I think there are a lot of people who take that for granted until they get a glimpse of their own mortality.
Yeah.
Or get a real dose of it.
Or watch somebody else who isn't.
Yeah. So I think I think watching somebody else have a problem is a glimpse of their own mortality, and
yeah,
getting a dose of it, having a heart attack, having a stroke, and it's a whole different sign to.
Yeah. And then every time I have the opportunity to make somebody else feel better. I mean, when somebody tells me that I made a difference in their life or that, they're feeling better because they talk to me, I mean, that's a win for me. That's a real win for me. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Um, I don't take credit necessarily for it. It's not like I'm out there trolling for somebody to tell me I made them feel better, but when it happens, I'm okay with that. And that's part of my thing on the planet. I think I'm here to make people feel better about life and themselves. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm pretty happy. I also associate with a lot of people who maintain an attitude like that. So it's easy upkeep. I generally discharge grumpy people from my existence, or at least distance myself from them, so I don't even have to battle with those decisions. So that's me.
Good. Yeah, that getting rid of grumpy people.
Yeah, but I catch you.
Yeah, although I think, if I may say so myself, I'm considerably less grumpy these days than.
Yeah, considerably less.
Yeah,
I think Marlena had something to do with that.
I will get on a rant, but that doesn't make me grumpy. Yeah, I used to grump my way through my days.
You had some of those. Now I haven't actually experienced a full day of you grumping your way through, but
No, I don't think you would have. I don't think you would have bothered to around for it.
I've muddled through a couple of hours of it from time to time, but generally speaking, no, you've been good. So yeah, you are better than you used to be. You were smiling more consistently than you used to, and I don't know if that's an intentional act or just life has progressed in a way that has made you feel more joy on a daily basis.
Well, I think life and health, I know that this sounds preachy and a lot of people, preach like this, but you don't know until you're getting some exercise and eating well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that you felt like crap.
Well, there is probably
for
that.
most of your life. Yeah, I was watching a show on Hulu called The Next Thing You Eat, which is a little mini documentary series done by David Chang, who's a chef with some pretty famous restaurants.
Mhm.
And it did an episode on breakfast. He's Korean American, and the show opens with like breakfast cereal. One of the episodes opens like, why are we eating this stuff for breakfast? Well, it turns out that you've heard the phrase breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first time this appears is in a magazine published by one Mr. Kellogg, who,
Name
name you might recognize.
Familiar. Yeah.
And he invented cornflakes, first breakfast cereal. He invented cornflakes because he thought it would diminish the sexual drive of teenage boys.
Get out.
He thought that a bland, grain-based breakfast food would keep teenage boys from masturbating. And of course, the reason that teenage boys have such a high sexual drive is because when we developed as humans, thousands of years ago, if we wanted to reproduce, that's when we started. That's when we started doing it, right? By the time we were 35, 40, nature had no interest in us reproducing anymore. We were too old for that stuff. The nature wanted the 14, 15-year-olds. So, but 14, 15-year-olds who only want to go out and take part in reproductive acts are not good for an industrial civilization
where they frowned on in a lot of circles,
where they need those kids as workers and in school. So he thought that breakfast cereal would help out industrialization in that way.
Wow.
And that's how this became breakfast.
And Wheaties followed close behind, I guess.
Well,
but who knew about all that sugar? Then it became
like Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't, cornflakes and Wheaties and like this stuff is like that's the good side of breakfast cereal, and that's what was started to lower sex drive. And now it's like Lucky Charms and Cocoa Puffs and Frankenberry, it's so. But if we're brought up that that's the most important thing, then how bad have we been feeling most of our lives and not realizing how bad we were feeling until we were like, oh, look, if I get up and do some exercise and have a green smoothie for breakfast, oh, I feel way better than if I woke up and had a bowl of cornflakes, maybe with some sugar spooned onto it.
I got a couple of boxes downstairs I haven't finished for the last year and a half. So.
Right. So, for decades, a lot of us simply don't feel good, and we don't know that. And it probably leads to some general grumpiness. But now that I'm running and I'm eating like eggs and vegetables for breakfast, and I stopped putting sugar in my coffee.
Didn't know that? Oh,
yeah. Well, when I was first drinking coffee, like a lot of people, I first drank coffee because I wanted the caffeine kick. But I thought coffee tasted awful, so I added milk and sugar. So I was, drinking an extra like a few hundred calories worth of sugar a day. So, like, we're just running around feeling like garbage, and we don't know that we're feeling like garbage because we've just always felt like that. So of course we're cranky.
Well, I don't normally feel that. As a matter of fact, most of the time I don't actually
But
eat breakfast.
you drink like green smoothies for breakfast, or you
I
fast, which is
do
really good for you, and you drink your coffee black, and
now. Yes,
you're
yes.
not putting all that
Goodness.
sugar and garbage into your body,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, now I have room to breathe and feel good and feel grateful and not grumpy and
And lately it's been like yellow eggs and ham.
so, so more salt than you're used to with the ham, but still
They're little chunks of ham.
okay. So you're not
No, I'm not like,
you're not
taking out a whole
eating
hog.
you're not eating like a ham steak the size of
No, no, no. Just those little cubes by Hormel. Just
okay,
a
yeah.
few in there just to add a little flavor to it. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, so that helps you feel, that can help get rid of the grumpies and give you a good shot of that gratitude. We kind of went off on this side rant,
Food.
but
What causes gratitude? Good food. Hey,
yeah,
it's a good start.
and Thanksgiving we like to blame the turkey, for that like post Thanksgiving meal.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But
Tryptophan.
what else did you eat with that turkey? Did you have a pile of bread stuffing and a pile of sugared up squash and
Sweet potato casserole.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The
It's
cranberry sauce.
yeah, it's all that extra. It's all the other stuff. The turkey's probably great for you.
That sugar letdown.
It's all the other stuff that you ate with it. That it's like,
Yeah.
oh, did you eat mashed potatoes and candied yams and
Oh yeah. But don't forget the collard greens. You got some collard greens. So that's something potentially healthier. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Or a salad, but
Or that.
yeah.
Whatever the sisters cook, really,
Yeah.
that's what's coming up. Yeah.
But what do we bring? We're bringing the apple pie this year.
Oh yeah.
I won't be baking that, by the way, Jim.
No.
But-
And my sisters are going to be making sweet potato pie and and sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows on top and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Now,
luckily, I don't eat like I used to because man.
Yeah, that one day a year doing that, or 2 days, because you have the same exact meal on Christmas.
Those left, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do that
2 days
anymore.
that you do that, you just like. Most of us are like that.
Useless for 3 days.
Most of us are like that all year. Except the one day we're like too sick to eat, and the next day we're like, oh, I feel great now. Well, of course you do.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, these days I've adopted more of a.
Listening to you talk about sweet potato pie and collard greens, I'm like,
I apologize.
I'm not a racist, but my stomach was born black.
Glad I could help. I knew there was something that was drawing us together.
Yeah.
Your black stomach, yeah. And that's okay. But except for Thanksgiving, when it was a few years ago when we'd go home and we'd eat, and then we'd go like, you remember when we used to devour that whole table and we'd get up and nothing was left? Where are we going to put all these leftovers?
It's like you're still cooking for 25 people.
They still send some of them
you
back.
Can't find a turkey under stones, and
it's crazy. But thank God nobody's brought one of those BJ's cheesecakes, man. Holy smoke!
Now, if anybody tried to bring anything store bought to Thanksgiving, forget about it.
Well, I don't think anybody in my family actually makes cheesecake, but the sweet potato pie is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, we'll have a pile of desserts and a pile of sides, and it'll all be homemade.
And then you'll be running for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I already have plans to explore a trail there that I haven't been on for Thanksgiving morning.
Well, there you go.
Get up at 5 and you get out the door by 6:30, and you have the headlamp to start, and you be out there for 3 hours, and then come home. And
You know, something really weird happened because the other day or lately, I've been waking up at like 6 a.m. Now, I know you'll say that's due to the time change, but that's an hour earlier than I would have awakened if time hadn't changed. Like, what's up?
Are you going to bed earlier?
Not generally. But one night I did go to bed at midnight as opposed to 3:25 or 4:10, you know, like that. But no, so I don't know. Well, maybe it's just the light. Maybe it's just the weather. I don't know. But now here's the really scary part. Sometimes I actually get up when I wake up. So the thought of Kelvin being awake at 6:15 and doing something instead of laying back down or maybe that's like, where did that guy come from? But maybe that's what the next phase of my life is going to be like.
Good. Yeah.
Wake up at 6 and do something.
Yeah. The only time I don't get up when I wake up is if I wake up at a time that it would be counterproductive to what needs to happen that day for me to do so.
Yeah.
So if Sunday night is the night that I try to get to bed early and sleep a little later into Monday morning, because Sunday is a day shift and Monday's a night shift. So if I go to bed Sunday night and I wake up at 3:15 in the morning and I have to be up until 3 o'clock, I need to go back to bed. But if I get up at 6:30, I'm fine. And it's the same every other day. If I'm up at 7:15 or 5:45 or whatever, like, well, I guess I'm awake. Time to get up.
There you go. So I'm getting more at that.
But I got a nap, I'll nap, but
may as well not just nap when I don't need to get up.
Yeah. So if I got a nap, but if I need to nap, it's probably because I've been more productive during the morning than I had intended to be, and now I don't need to be. And I mean, that's how Europe works, right? Spain and Italy and Portugal, they all take a siesta after lunch.
I've heard stories.
Yeah, our circadian rhythms slow down at that hour, and it's just, it's the hottest part of the day usually, weather-wise. You get up and you have your morning, and then you shut down when it's too hot to be productive, and you just run out of production, and then you pick back up again in the evening, and maybe you stay up a little later, do a little more,
eat a little longer.
Yeah.
Notice those European restaurants, when you go, they don't rush you out. You start eating and you just keep going till you got room to put it.
Sure.
We have to go back to Italy for that.
Never been.
So that's another question. But anyway, so gratitude, thankfulness, Thanksgiving, happy. We won't even mention Black Friday sales.
That takes a lot of the joy out of it.
Just only if you go,
or if you have to work it.
And there is that. And since I don't watch television, I don't have to see the commercials, so it's just wonderful.
That's right. Yeah, we're in that position too. We got rid of our cable provider. So
yeah.
We don't have access to any of that. So
just internet. Yes.
Yeah.
Which you can choose whatever you want.
Well, our cell phone provider provides our internet.
And
it runs off the 5G tower.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There you go. So all in all,
I had somebody complain about Black Friday sales starting on Thanksgiving. I say, you know what? If you don't want your spouse to have to work, if you don't want your spouse or your friends, your family to have to work, look at your purchasing habits. If you're excited for Walmart to open at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving night, but you don't want your loved ones to have to work, well, you got to not go. You got to just tell Walmart, I'm not going to buy from you. Don't be open. And you got to put that into practice. And if it stops becoming, if it stops being profitable, they won't do it.
But a whole lot of people have to be of like mind.
Yeah. Well, I think a whole lot of people are upset about their loved ones having to work, but they don't look at why they have to work.
Yeah.
Like if you can get gas the day before you travel, then if you're going to travel on Thursday, gas up on Wednesday. And if you're coming home Friday, gas up Friday morning. Don't gas up when you get there Thursday. Gas up Wednesday and Friday, not on Thursday. And that way, fewer gas stations have to be open and all that. Yeah, that all has an effect. Voting with your dollar,
supply,
at least in America, is one of the most powerful votes you can cast. So I'm gonna shut my mouth and we should wrap up this episode. Thanks for being here. A big thank you to Kelvin for listening to me go off.
Well,
on these
what friends are for.
Rants. jkwdpodcast.com for show notes for this and all our other episodes. 280 something at this point. Coming up on 5.5 years going by anyway. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Show notes and more at jkwdpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends. And we will see you next week. Bye. A Better Humanhood production.